Oh, hello there. Chuck Martin from CGM Theory Productions. How are you on this beautiful Monday? A little hot, a little hot here, a little hot there, but actually we got away from that extreme heat from last week, which is, a blessing in disguise. And I hope you had a great 4th. I hope you had a great holiday and mixing it on like this. And it was kind of really cool seeing my other holidays. So, but I'm here for one major reason, giving you a complete and wonderful update. Um, as of last week, besides being the 79th entry, wow, 79 entries within the last, from last year coming into this year. And we're just beginning with the summer. It's just beginning the tip of things. And everything is going good, going very well. Monday, as of last Monday, I had the 3 month checkup of my, insides with the contrast. And again, with the stale Gatorade, and we kind of cracked jokes. And again, kudos to the amazing staff over at Orange Regional Medical Center, otherwise known Garnett Orange Regional Medical Center, but soon to be Montefiore. So just to give that clarification out. But again, Regional Medical Center in Middletown is absolutely wonderful. So, kudos going out to them, to the nurses, to the specialists, to a great team, and how they map out everything. And it just takes one little, magnesium drink that tastes like, again, stale Gatorade. I don't know why, but it just had that taste to it. But always they're saying always, keep yourself hydrated, fluid, keep the fluids going, make sure you're doing your part. So, and then on Wednesday was my, an hour and a half round. And let me tell you something. Last week, and God bless to the ladies, my angels from the blood center staff in that section, and also from the infusion staff. You guys are rock stars. You guys are amazing. Dr. Modi, thank you. And, even and the group of doctors that taking care of me throughout the entire, through that this entire journey. And 32 rounds, who would ever thought about it? I never thought, there were a couple days that I was going to say, am I going to make it through? And do I have the will? And there's no drama to this, no drama at all. And it was just, you know, question starts popping up. What is the next step? What are we going to do? Are we looking for that potential pill, or um, how we could deviate a few things, deviate with it in a few ways. So, it's just an amazing thing on that. But Wednesday was completely, in my point of view, was definitely chaos. It was chaotic. I didn't realize how busy it gotten to be. Every chair was taken, with it. It was one, and it's like, hey, this is how to be the best as ever. And to Marie and to the front staff taking care of me with this, and everything's now checked in through my cell phone or my mobile device. You do a simple question. Oh, that's cool. Like, I'm in already? Really? Okay. And most importantly, being there early. Okay. Now, because with the, with the extensive parking, everybody's crying about, why is there no parking here? Why is there no, it's, well, because it's a very active building over Middletown Medical in in good Middletown, New York, right by the Orange County Fair Speedway. And hint, hint, wink, wink, coming up, Orange County Fair at the end of the month. So, yet, again, Wednesday was absolutely, and the girls, I mean, my angels, they absolutely put it together. They held it together. They said, "Have you been checked out?" And it's like, it's kind of funny because I got myself to weigh in, which the weight is very good. Weight is stable at 158. Amazing. Got a little bit here. Wish my arms would actually get a little bit bulkier, but that's beside the point. I think I need a little bit more protein, and you know, with everything going on, and and just sitting there. And then one of the most beautiful things, or one of the most beautiful areas. I mean, I went back to where I usually sit because with a fellow queen. By the way, hi Stevie. Hope you're doing wonderful, girl. I mean, I'm proud of you for being, a survivor and a warrior queen and survivor from breast cancer. It was feel like it was the mutual of the minds of the four sections. So we had everyone from the area, from Sullivan County, Ulster, and Orange. And this one gentleman, which I commend, oh my goodness, he had something certain with, something that was wrong with his bone. And it was really not bone marrow cancer, but it was something wrong with with his bone. And they make sure they take chips of it and regenerate it to a certain growth, get steroids built around, and he's recovering. And it's amazing. And chemo after session, and after many operations, he's a strong survivor, a strong warrior, like anybody else. So kudos to him. And I applaud to the effort. you know and with me, obviously, I'm just sitting there, just listening, watching my video, or trying to figure out the next steps, what's going on, because it's a very busy time for me. um I'm like looking forward to the 40th class reunion, to Catskill International Film Festival that's coming up. That's coming up, folks. And most importantly, the concert season. Now, I am being blessed for some reason or another. Okay. So Friday was my mini chemo. Actually, I played, the home edition, 32.1, which is basically at home with the medical sack and the ball, and, the chemo, make sure the medication was going through. And, I've been sleeping okay. And, sometimes it gets a little tiring because of the chemo effect. And, back on the regimen of taking water pills and to the D, vitamin D every Saturday. So, so here I am, I'm like thinking, just typing away and everything else. And I finally get some news that later on in the concert season, I'm going to see some major shows out of a beautiful venue up in Sullivan County called the Bethel Woods Performing Arts Center. And I mean, I'll give you more on the life side of things, on my other um, my POV of of the day and everything else. But I'm mixing this one right now because music to me is definitely the calming of all senses. You know, the release of it, it just makes it. Music is definitely healthy in one way or another. It soothes it. You listen to it, you let your mind wander, go to sleep, and you feel like you're part of this musical journey. And that's what I was. In fact, a friend of mine, my neighbor, we went to see an amazing concert last Friday night. And let me tell you something, she is absolutely amazing. You know, the evolving of it, from acoustic violin to, the electric violin. Um, Definitely content created, media superstar. She's also on Bandcamp, on other social media pages. I saw it for the very first time, the Duality tour with Lindsey Sterling. Oh my God. Oh, let me tell you something. If you have passion for music like I do as a DJ, and just listening to the senses of it, it's it's uplifting, it's gratifying, and yes, on a major, it's really holy ground over there. It's the holy grail of it all. It's what we call Woodstock. Obviously, I have the Woodstock shirt on right now. But it's really like the holy grail of it all. The aura, when you get a chance, take your sandals off or take your shoes off, and feel the magic, feel what it's all about, because that is a really a place of virgins, of peace, of everything. And let me tell you something, Lindsay, I love you. Oh my God, you were absolutely amazing. And here's a little story on this back is I've been following her journey on there as well through YouTube or any other other sites. Obviously she practiced violin. Very much a very crafty of it. She launches on American Got Talent a couple years ago, and I still remember seeing the footage to this day. Um, she's playing her heart out, and believe me, I commend her for doing it, being on a stage with people, and then you have the judges out there, and there was a couple of them that was really, from an easy critic to one of the most strict critics ever in this, Mr. Cowell. hmm I don't have to say it anymore, but Mr. Cowell gave her an earful. Even Mr. Mandel. Now, and I respect Howie. I really Howie is an amazing comedian. God bless him in his one way or another, and kind of guided her in the one way direction. So here's Lindsay, very bittersweet on getting to that level. Well, here she is. She's on many social media pages. She's on Bandcamp. She's on everything. And listening to her play, her style, it blew me away in everything, everything. And then I'm watching, obviously on, this amazing platform, on how Lindsay, go back to, Howie Mandel. And let me tell you something, Howie apologized to her. And I said, that's the most grateful and that's gracious of him, because and now she's like smiling now. She's like she knows, obviously she has talent. She's talent beyond, and not great dancer. Her, her playing, and then when I'm starting to hear at the beginning of the concert, great intro, and then she goes into one of the legendary songs from Led Zeppelin, Kashmir. It blew me away, and you can hear my voice saying, "Oh my God." I got to see this for the very first time. And the concert was, she played many of her tracks from the Duality and many other pieces that that she has, and she has a really great record collection. By the way, she has a great and then with the behind the scenes with many TV shows and you know um, many different things, and then how explanatory, great stage presence, obviously, with the rope, actually the rope, the satin coming down, and twirling about in there to the hula hoop, and just seeing the flexibility of it, and seeing the entire entourage coming around, absolutely majestic. And then when she did a part with the drummer and the percussionist and the electric guitarist, which totally blew me away. And it's like it was a dueling strings. It was basically her on the violin versus the electric guitar. So it's like they're playing and playing and playing, and then I started hearing a classic country song. The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I said, "What? Devil Went Down to Georgia?" Like, you got to be. And it was like my eyes lit up. I was really. It was absolutely amazing. It was absolutely. Lindsay put me in a state that I felt like I want to be a little bit better. I want to make sure I hear it, and keep going. And this is how music really transforms, the soul, especially where warriors like me are out there saying, "Don't cry for me. Don't pity me. Don't do anything else. I'm doing this on my own, and I'm doing what I can with, some small groups, medium groups like Thank You, Jerry. Of course, every time, Kristen, obviously, shout out to Kristen as well. because I know they've been, obviously it's a very, very busy time, and I, totally understand it. So at the end of the show, one of my favorite songs from her, it's the Eye of the Untold. I started to tear up, to well up, and started crying. It was one of the most sensual pieces, a sweet piece. It made my tears come down, and I, felt from other people, felt the energy of others. That I always, I always put myself in other people's shoes and saying, you know, look at me, I'm doing this. Look at me, I'm doing that. And I've, lighting up the fire a little bit more. And I want to, make sure the presence is being known. So on that level, it was absolutely amazing. So, Lindsay, mm, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for a mystical night at the Bethel Woods Performing Arts Center. Who knows what's coming up this week? There's going to probably be another video that I'm going to be putting on a little bit later, but obviously this week I have two other appointments coming up, coming back down, and it's kind of like Grayson. I'm like, okay, 32, and this is like the 79th entry. Tomorrow I have the injection, which is basically building up the blood cells, and then I get to meet Dr. Modi this Wednesday. So fingers crossed, hopefully we're looking at the right direction. Um, because when I saw when I saw, on one of my medical chart things, by the way, great app to get from my chart. I saw that. I'm like, okay, can you, I'm going to ask Dr. Modi, can you elaborate more on the situation where we stand? You know, could it be, could this be we're, waiting down on the chemo sessions, or are we looking for a little bit more? And one of the nurses replied to me, it's like, how many sessions have you seen? I've seen a couple. She goes, I've seen a couple of people that made it to 100 rounds, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I'm going to be hitting close to 50. Well, first of all, I'm hitting close to 36. That's 3 dozen rounds. Okay. Um, but going close to 50 and seeing that majestic, because, again, it's not only the pancreas that I have, it's basically the liver. So it's a wait and see way of doing everything. So I'm just taking it day by day, did what I had to do in the morning, and I'm being blessed and I'm being grateful. The weather has been cooperating very, very much at night, and thinking, cool things, thinking about what's going on tomorrow, what's going on this week. Well, obviously I got a couple things going on and celebrating something today, which I'm going to carry on to another video. So on my wrap up, obviously I'm getting a little bit more, facial complexion. I got the weight. I wish I had a little bit more on that. The weight is basically more important because I'm getting to eat a little bit more. That, as a matter of fact, I did cheat. A couple weeks ago. Um, there was a appreciation day at one of the local stores, which it will be named nameless, and a great organization with the Little League in this area. They had an appreciation day, and all the donations went to the Little League Foundation over here. And for the first time out of 1 year, I had a hot dog. One, one hot dog. That was it. Let me tell you something. I enjoyed that hot dog. It was absolutely amazing. So, what type was it? I didn't know, and I didn't care. I just enjoyed it for the very first time after a year. So, on that note, and besides, I'm actually having hamburger. I'm having but hamburger in one way that is grass and grain fed through the farmers markets. And I got to thanks to Crumbs Farms and definitely Herman's Farms out of this area. Guys are amazing. Um, with the maple syrup that's originally here, anything that's locally produced, that's grown, that's going to help me heal better. And really, this is my main job right now. I mean, forget about being essential, forget about being everything. My main job is to recuperate, heal, get better, and be what I have to do, be a content creator, being somebody who's going to be out there to uplift others that are going through a situation like I am. Again, a friend of mine, he's probably on his. I think this is this week for chemo. I think it's his ninth session compared to me with my 32nd session last week, and then we'll see where we're going to go with there. But um, everything's going pretty well. Living is practically fantastic, and just an amazing life right now. And I'm blessed. I'm grateful. And again, here are two of my favorite sayings: You raise the bar in life. Make sure it happens. Make sure you're going to live it. You get up, have your cup of coffee, cup of tea, glass of orange juice, apple juice, which that's like my other thing that over at diner close to town here. Eating wisely, and just being around good people, having water, keep yourself hydrated. That's raising the bar and saying it's a win. You're getting up for another day. That's a win. So I got those two bases covered, and never giving up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up, because there's a lot more to life instead of being so down to the ground. Be inspired, and I'm hoping that these videos, and I'm hoping that this the content that I'm getting out there, I hope it's being inspired to you and what we're going on. Because yes, again, cancer doesn't have me. I'm not being defeated by cancer at all. I may have pancreatic cancer stage 4. I may have liver cancer stage 4 metastatically, but it doesn't keep me back. No, I'm pulling it. I'm going ahead. I'm going ahead each and every way, and hanging in there. So that's the major, made part of it. And then right now I'm creating a legacy that's going to be becoming a legend, and in tribute to what's going to be happening in the next, in somebody else's life, and just taking a look at it and being involved, be a part of something. And then the most important thing, you know, that's my favorite line: in what we do in life echoes in eternity. What I'm doing right now, it's an eternity base. It's something that's so wonderful and inspiring to do. So make sure you do that, in that one way or another. And brothers and sisters, again, in what we do in life echoes in eternity. And then really my mentor from college. Thank you, Tom. Tom Donahue, aka Tom McCrae. He put it in my Buffalo State University. Well, now it's called Buffalo State University, but back in the day, it was Buffalo State College. And he wrote down, keep reaching for the stars. No, keep your feet on the ground, yet keep reaching for the stars. That's what I'm basically doing. So, on this time, for again, the 79th entry and my 32nd round, the wrap up's completed. I'm going to say my peace, love, and definitely we will see you around in the near future. Otherwise, this is Chuck Martin from CGM3 Productions. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And don't stop believing. Keep doing. Peace. We'll talk to you later.